our virtual volunteer potluck. I had hoped that we would be able to meet together in person, but not quite. So how many folks, by show of hands, have been vaccinated?
Partially.
Partial, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, it feels good, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you've probably been reading in the news and listening. We're cautiously optimistic about being able to get back together in person later this year. And so I know Tim has been working hard with the county trying to figure out what that looks like for us. And so we'll stay in touch with you, but know that at least some of our opportunities are going to reopen, and we'll give you more information as stuff becomes available. I want to, at this moment, turn it over to Tim Aston, who is the director of the Arapahoe County Extension Office, and he's going to give you a brief welcome.
Hey, everybody. On the topic of a coronavirus vaccine, it's good to be old. This is one of the times I'm happy to be old.
Yes.
And, on that same topic, I think everybody really was as flexible as they could be last year with regards to programming in a COVID world. The program itself, the horticulture and Master Gardener program itself has done an incredible job statewide to make remote learning accessible and flexible for the demand in the state, which is going through the roof in terms of the need for horticulture knowledge. We sat through an online presentation yesterday by Katie Dunker, and she talked a little bit about Grow and Give, and she talked a little bit about green schools and the various options that are being offered online for people that, don't necessarily want a really intense curriculum to follow, but maybe something a little bit more like short courses, things along those lines. And it shows me the creativity. We've got great creativity in Arapahoe County, obviously. But with Katie's help and with everybody else's participation, the program is taken off and statewide, which is great. So there's so many interesting opportunities going on. I don't want to take up your time talking about those, but I do know that the leadership in place, both at the state level and here at the county, are well respected, beloved by pretty much, not everybody, but pretty much everybody that they come in contact with. And I'm just lucky as a director to have such a successful program and have such awesome leadership. And I think you can all agree, the leadership is awesome to fall back on. And it's just not the case with all the programs that we do in our office. I mean, we've got some really successful programs, some programs that are still coming up, in terms of popularity and applicability to county needs. But this is one that's just a joy to watch unfold each year. Lisa and Lucinda and I, along with Martha, work over the winter to really try to do advanced program planning for this particular program. And they're very creative, and we will make this work one way or the other. I am confident that there'll be more face-to-face, there'll be more, hopefully, educational opportunities outside. And if we really want to do something, we can always file an exemption and try to get an exception approval done at campus. So do what you do, learn what you want to learn. And, if there's anything that I can do as the director of the office, you're always free to contact me by email or even by cell. I tell that to all the people that I work with. I just want to hear from you if you really need something. And I don't expect that I'll have to, because your leadership is so good and pretty dialed into what you need. So have a great year. I'm really hopeful that we can get to do at least half of the stuff we're planning to do well. And thanks for being part of the Master Gardener program.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for me while I'm here? Anything kind of burning in the back of your minds that I can help you with, at least try to help you with? And if not, that's okay too. Yeah, the leadership does rock for sure. Trying to keep up with the leaders is a chore. Hey, Allie. I just saw Allie.
Hi,
How are you?
good, how are you?
Awesome. Good to see you.
Are there any questions for Tim, maybe about the county direction and getting back into the office or our move to open space? Are there any question? I think everybody knows we moved out of community resources and into open space. So I don't know if there are any questions about that you'd like to take an opportunity to ask Tim.
Yeah, I can even speak to that real quickly, Lucinda. You know, the move to open spaces is a natural one for us. Obviously, they're in charge of all the trailheads and the, you know, a lot of the facilities that are out there in the county, and the educational opportunities that are in front of us are numerous with the help of the open spaces staff and resource pool. So we're thinking about a lot of things to do with them. We're actually pondering out loud about a naturalist program. And we've offered to do a pilot of that once that kind of gets some airtime within our program planning. And just addition
on the right, to the right side.
Yeah, so I'll just keep talking. So so that's that. So a lot of program opportunities. And as far as the office goes, you know, we're kind of in a 50% occupancy space right now where people can come in up to 5 to 10 people at a time, socially distanced in the office. I would expect that if we want to do intake like we normally do on the Hort side, we'll probably have the ability to have, you know, 1 or 2 master gardeners on site to be able to handle some of that intake and also answer questions like we used to do. The question is how fast do we pivot to that? And I'll be working with Lucinda and Lisa and Shannon Carter, who's the Open Spaces Director, on the right cadence with regards to in-person education and remote education. So we're inching back to normalcy, but it's going to take us a little bit of time. That's about the best I can do at this point. So anyway,
Great.
enjoy your time, enjoy your day, and I'm going to hang on for a little bit, Lucinda, until the dog bugs me.
Okay. Great. Whoops. Great, thank you. All righty. Well, we're still in the process of admitting some folks, and I did, while Tim was speaking, mute you all. So next in our conversation is we want to introduce our apprentices. We had a great meeting this morning, thanks to Jeff and Debbie Moody, and Lisa was on the call, and Martha Kirk. We did a virtual orientation, had lots of excellent questions. They're all very excited to join our group. And so I just want to take this opportunity to welcome the apprentices. They've worked hard this year. Tim spoke to the state leadership that provided the online training, and now they get to join our group and be part of our team here locally. So I want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell a little bit about themselves, and I'll just go around the room and we will, I'll call on you, you can unmute and then share. So let me look through the list and see. Okay, Mim, looks like you're first up on my screen.
Thank you so much. Would you like me to just hit it with answering the questions or what?
Well, what we did in order to prime our apprentices a little bit, we asked them 3 questions. 1, what is your favorite food? What's the furthest point that you traveled? And now I'm forgetting the 3rd question because I've been so busy.
The 3rd was music.
Correct. Oh, my favorite. How could I forget that? That's
And
the
then
one
the fourth was whatever else you want to talk about yourself. So there were actually
Okay.
4, Lucinda.
So are you going to talk about whatever else you want to talk about?
I will hit them all. Are you ready?
You bet. You go.
Okay. My favorite food is cherry chip cake, and I have 4 children and they're all chefs. And so that's what they make for my birthday every year. Favorite music, country. I love to two-step. My previous job has sent me around the world several times. So I've taken the kids to 5 continents, and let's just say they're well traveled. And then the fourth is my youngest son is a senior at Smoky Hill, and he's about to fly the nest. So I'm so excited to be an empty nester.
Great, thank you. That was Mim Shea, by the way, one of our new volunteers, right? And excited to have her join the group. Judy, looks
Hello.
like you're next.
So my favorite food, if I could, I would love to have roast lamb, mint sauce, small baby potatoes, nice salad, something that I really have a hard time finding here in Colorado. Having grown up on a dairy farm where I was used to that kind of food, but let's see, music. I love all kinds of music depending on my mood. But right now, I'm probably into Elephant Revival. It's kind of a folk music. I just love that.
Love them.
Beautiful. Yes, I adore Elephant Revival and all their music. So right now I'm into them at the moment. As far as travel, the furthest I've been is actually Australia with my husband. We went on an amazing trip to Melbourne and spent a wonderful 10 days there, just enjoying the coastline, and then went to the tennis tournament there, went to see the Australian Open and really had a great time. And then a fact about myself, well, as you can hear from my accent, I'm from England, and I've been living here in Colorado for quite some time. I'm married with 2 grown-up boys. I came over originally on a teacher exchange program, and I was here for a year working in the Littleton Public Schools. And then I got to meet a lady called Caroline Hambidge, who runs the Stanley British Primary School. And that's it. I've been here ever since. So teaching and part-time teaching now with the Denver Botanic Gardens at the Plains Conservation Center. So that's an interesting fact about myself, and super excited to join the Master Gardener program, and especially delighted with the incredible programs that you've been offering us for continuing education. And I'm super excited to be part of this. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Judy. We'll have to compare notes on bluegrass and Elephant Revival and all that that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Okay, let's see. Nina, looks like you're up next.
Unmute myself. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here too. This is fantastic. My favorite food is tomatoes. Anything with tomatoes, cooked, uncooked. I love tomatoes and sweet potatoes, specifically sweet potato pie. And I do gain 5 pounds every time I eat a slice of sweet potato pie, but it's my favorite food. Let's see, my favorite type of music, I like a bunch of different types of music, but I do like R&B, funk, and hip hop. I like gospel, and I like classical because my daughters, when they were younger, used to play violin. So I do like that too. The furthest destination I've traveled to is to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, way back in 1987. And pertinent factoid about myself. Well, I just retired back in September after nearly 25 years working at one place. So I'm still feeling kind of strange, lost, sort of, who am I? What do I do next? So this had been on my bucket list to do. And I'm really, really thrilled about it. It's different from what I did before. I mean, I worked on child welfare policy. I missed that. And I've been here in Colorado for 23, almost 24, no, 25, 26 years, I think. But before that, I grew up in New York City in the Bronx. And I love living out here in Colorado, in Aurora. And I'm thrilled to be part of this and getting to meet and know all of you all.
Marvelous. Thanks, Nina. Kate.
Oh, there I go. Hi, everybody. This is such a great opportunity to get to see people's faces and get to know a little bit more about us new folks. My favorite food is, in general, is Mexican food. I always go on those kind of, if I were stranded on a desert island and had to have blank. But in all honesty, and it doesn't really count as food you could sustain yourself on for very long, I would say my favorite food is dark chocolate. And as far as music goes, I too like just, I love all different kinds of music, and I enjoy listening to music that I have no idea what they're saying, but it just sounds beautiful or fun, or I'd want to move to it. So, but if I were on a desert island and I had to have one person, I'd take Neil Young with me. Possibly Lord Huron. I really enjoy their music, a little bit newer. The furthest I've traveled is to Bali. My husband and daughter and I went there about 7 years ago and spent 10 days, just, you know, trip of a lifetime kind of a thing. And then something else about me is I just randomly took up watercoloring during COVID. I've never taken a painting class or anything. I took a few through Hudson Gardens online, and then just bought paper and paints and set up my dining room table that no one ever eats at as an art station. And I've been painting like a fiend. So that's been really fun. I look forward to being able to hopefully meet, if not all of you, most of you at some point. And I'm just excited about this. Thanks for the opportunity.
Great, Kate, thank you so much. Becky.
Hi everyone, I'm Becky. My favorite meal is this breakfast skillet my husband makes. He fries potatoes and bell peppers, onions, bacon, jalapenos, tomatoes, just kind of any vegetable we have, and then he tops it with melted cheese, and it is just spicy and out of this world. We have it every Sunday morning. My favorite music is definitely reggae. A couple of my favorite bands are Revolution and Stick Figure. And what was the next one? The farthest place I've been is London. When I was 16, I joined a marching band and they were offering a trip to London. And it was my first, I was a freshman in high school, and it was just a really fun experience. We went for a week and it was great. And I've really never left the country since then. A few little facts about me. I am a 5th and 6th generation Colorado native on both sides of my family. And I left Colorado for a few years, but came back and can't imagine living and gardening anywhere else. And I have 4 kids. My oldest is 19. He just went to college in Hawaii. And my youngest is 7. And that's about it, I think.
Great, thanks, Becky.
Sure.
Katie.
Hi, everyone. I'm from Chicagoland, so my favorite food is definitely deep dish pizza. We order it and like a 6-pack, and it comes frozen, and we probably eat it every week. My favorite song or type of music lately, I'm kind of hooked on Andrew Bird and Devachka. I don't know if any of you know, it may be a little folkish, maybe. The furthest place I've been is Punta Cana in Dominican Republic. And I don't really have a factoid because all of you probably love dogs. All of you love plants. So my factoids aren't that interesting, except for I kind of pick one plant and try to master it, I guess. So over this winter, it was orchids, and I think I've kind of mastered them to rebloom, and I'm going to move on to dahlias this summer.
Awesome, great. Thanks, Kate. Rita.
Hello, everyone. My favorite food is ice cream, coconut in particular. And when we get to know each other, I hope to make all of you some. I know my mentor and my co-apprentice have tried it. It's really good. My favorite music is jazz standards, and that's because my husband is a musician. That's a far cry from my favorite music years ago, which was AC/DC, Van Halen, that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate Ella Fitzgerald in particular, Nat King Cole, Billie Holiday. It's my favorite stuff now. Then the furthest place I've traveled is Italy. My grandma came over on the boat through Ellis Island in the 30s, and we went back to see her hometown of 150 people. So it was a pretty spectacular experience seeing that. And my factoid is I'm a scuba instructor on the side, part-time job, and I'm very passionate about that, but I see the gardening is going to be taking over the passions these days. So nice meeting y'all.
Great, thanks. Jen?
All right, I'm Jen. I like to talk a lot, so if you work with me, we'll have fun. My favorite food, I'm also a Chicagoland native, so Katie, I'm curious what your pizza is. If you're a Lou Malnati's kind of girl, or but I would definitely say there's a food chain out there. It's called Portillo's. Joanna, you're excited over there too? All right, we'll talk, guys. But it's called Portillo's. It's a hot dog stand. Chicago's known for hot dogs, pizza, but they have phenomenal chocolate cake. And every time I go home to visit family in Chicago, usually around Christmas time, I pack up a whole cooler in the car and just load it full of all my Chicago staples. And this year I did bring back an entire chocolate cake. Music, I'm kind of all over the place. I like a lot of rock bands. I would say my favorite band right now is Tool, but I also am really into Lindsey Sterling, who's a violinist. For travel, I went to New Zealand in 2018 with my husband for our honeymoon, and that was fantastic. I can't wait to hear all of your other travel stories as well. And then a brief factoid about myself. My best friend actually was diagnosed with leukemia in December, and I shaved my head for her. So you'll watch it grow back, but I'm excited. It's been a hard year, I think, for everyone in 2020. So I'm just excited to get out and socialize again and kind of break out of this reclusive shell that I feel like I fell into.
Thank you for that information. It's so nice that we can support one another in our community, and best wishes to your friend. It's so nice that you're participating in that way. And we yes, we are looking forward to seeing everyone back, hopefully as soon as possible. The demonstration gardens will be back open here pretty quick, and we want to get you back into the office and working as soon as it is safe to do so. Our most important consideration is making sure that all you volunteers stay safe. So thanks for sharing, Jen. Andrea.
Hi, I'm Andrea Briney, and let's see, I think I copied my notes from Rita's, what she shared, because it sounds very similar. I guess on a desert island, ice cream would come with me, although I think it'd melt. But if it's not that, it's seafood. I will skip to the factoid because that's a good segue. I'm born and raised in New York, and then moved to Connecticut, and then Chicago, and then North Carolina, and have found myself here. And I've gardened in every one of those states, and it's been a bit nutty each way. So I'm happy to be here in Colorado. We've been here for 4 years. And music, like a lot of you, I like to listen to a lot of different things, but on a desert island, and I'll go against maybe my millennial is I'd take Yanni or Enya with me. So that's all.
Great. Thanks so much. All righty, Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Kelly and I'm half vaccinated. I waited for that. Zoom has a delay.
I'm half vaxxed too.
Half vaxxed, yeah.
Half vaxxed, yep.
My favorite food, it varies. Like one year I couldn't get enough pretzels. It's kind of like, or kettle corn, but it changes. Sunflower seeds for a while, I just could, it's one thing will just take hold. So I'd be really facing a desert island. I would just say cake. I love cake, moist cake. That's what I could live on. My favorite music right now, it's the folky bluegrass, maybe those new, like Alexi Murdoch and Tyler Childers, but then also love No Effects and Face to Face, those punkish bands from the 1990s.
The 90s, man.
Yeah, yes, right. I heard Tool, your swing was as large as mine. You love Tool, but then also Lindsey Sterling's amazing. So if it's music, I'm a real lyricist. So I like to feel what other people are saying. The furthest destination I have traveled is the Isle of Skye. So just United Kingdom, and then took the ferry boat across up to, from Scotland up to the Isle of Skye. Let's see. Fun fact, I am in a COVID-induced, pandemic-induced existential crisis where I am, and I have all the wants and needs of a 9-year-old boy. So I'm skateboarding, drawing. If I could sit still long enough, I'd play video games. And then I'm outside whenever I can be outside. But my goal is to be able to sit down and stay still. It's tricky. That's
Well, activity is important as we continue through this process. So hopefully you'll find some good exercise out in the garden. That's great. Nancy.
Hi, everybody. I'm so grateful to be a part of this, and you guys have been amazing. I can't believe how much I have learned so far. My favorite music is bluegrass by far. The Avett Brothers are amazing. Joe Kwan is my hero. As far as distance, I took the trip of a lifetime this summer before we locked down, and I got to go to Paris and Budapest and Prague and Morocco. But as I looked up, I guess Budapest is the farthest away. So my favorite food is roasted vegetables. I just love those. And a factoid is I have 4 adorable grandchildren, twin granddaughters that live in Gunnison, and a boy and a girl that live in Nebraska.
Great, congratulations. You don't look that old, let me say that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Who else is Mary Bailey on? I'm scrolling through. We've got 4 pages of folks in the gallery. So Mary,
I'm here. My apologies. I've been having terrible internet problems this morning, but hopefully that's worked itself out. Let's see. I, as well, am very excited about this program and about all the opportunities. Let's see. My favorite food, I've been thinking about this. I think it has to be artichokes. I just love artichokes. My favorite music is country music, pretty much anything country. And furthest I've traveled is Ireland. I have some relatives that live there. And so it's been a lot of fun to go visit those folks. No real fun factoids. I'm kind of a, stay home body like a lot of us are. I am expecting my first grandchild any day, however. So that's exciting for me. So.
Actually, your son is getting married, so that's a fun factoid.
Well, I suppose that's true. My one grandchild, that I have twin boys that are 29. One of them is married and expecting his first, and my other son is getting married at the end of May. And my husband and I are hosting the rehearsal dinner for about 60 people. So I'm doing all the cooking and getting a tent and all that kind of stuff. So it's very fun, lots of work, but it's very fun.
Great, congratulations, you're busy.
Thank you. Yes, I am busy. I am busy. But to say nothing of about the 65 tomato plants I have in my upstairs bedroom that are going to have to get in the ground at some point.
Great. Well, we have lots of space for that, so that's marvelous. That's
Absolutely.
Great. Chris, are you on?
Sure. This is Chris, and like everyone, I'm really happy to be part of the Master Gardeners program. I would say my favorite food is anything that somebody else has cooked, because I'm not a very good cook. So everything tastes better when somebody else has done the preparation and cooking. The furthest point that I have traveled is to Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I pretty much like all different kinds of music. I don't really have any preference. 2 factoids about me is I was born and raised here in Colorado. I spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C., and then I've come back home. The one good thing about Washington, D.C. and gardening is that you really have all 4 seasons and probably not quite the weather extreme. So things really go through the cycle of, you know, budding, blooming, and then leafing out and so forth. I really enjoy learning about history. And one of my favorite shows is Dr. Henry Gates' Finding Your Roots. It's on PBS. And so he explores kind of history through the study and exploration of the ancestry of influential people. So that got me involved in genealogy, and I like to do my research, and I've been very fortunate in actually going to 2 places where my ancestors came from, Denmark and Germany. And as soon as we can really travel safely, I hope to get to Scotland and Ireland.
Wow, that's great. Thanks for sharing those resources. We're always looking for new things to learn about. I'm enjoying. We're watching the Hemingway stuff on PBS, so it's really very interesting. I think I'm gonna read The Sun Also Rises again. I haven't done that for quite some time. So next on our list is Laura Vogel. Are you on, Laura?
Hi.
There you are.
Well, I think these are difficult questions because favorite food and favorite music depends on my mood of the day, like a broad variety of both. Currently eating some Middle Eastern food. It's kind of home cooking for me, so that might be up there. Also ice cream. Heard a lot of great music options from you guys, but no, I couldn't pick. Furthest I've traveled is Hawaii. I lived out there for about 6 months, and I can tell you that it's an extremely different gardening experience. Fun fact, I was a couple minutes late getting back here because I was playing with our new ducklings and I got carried away. I love all living things, like probably many of you. So, and this is my bird. She won't leave me right now. So that's why I put my camera off, not to distract you.
Oh, that's great. What kind of bird?
She's a Jen Day Conure. See, she doesn't want to leave, but there she is.
Marvelous. Lisa can share her birds too when she gets on in just a minute. Christine, are you on? Okay, maybe not. All right, well, thank you and welcome to our wonderful class of apprentices. We have 15 apprentices this year, so I know they're excited to join the community, and we're obviously excited to welcome them. And so we want you all to get to know our apprentices and help welcome them in the demonstration gardens, at the information booths. Before, I would say within the next 30 days, we're going to be out and about and all working together. So they're grateful for your help and guidance. Our mentors have done a tremendous job bringing them to this point, and they're going to start their office shifts here pretty quick. So it'll be fun to have a new group and get some new ideas and stuff, because it's always fun to keep renewing our program through the outstanding personnel that we have. So next up on the list, I want to introduce Lisa Mason and Martha Kirk, and I'll let Lisa go ahead. Many of you know her, but she is our esteemed leader, horticulture agent, and guides us in all sorts of fun activities, getting to know insects and birds and pollinators. Lisa.
Hi, everybody. It's congratulations to all our apprentices again. I know a lot of you, and if I haven't met you, I'm super excited to work with you. My background is in entomology, so you can ask me a lot of the bug questions as well as other horticulture topics. I'll be talking a little bit about Native Bee Watch, which is a community science program monitoring bees. That's kind of my specialty is pollinators. But I'm really excited to work with you, and Lucinda does such a fantastic job leading this program, and we're gonna have a great year. I can't wait to see you all in person again. That's yeah. And I do have birds. I have a cockatiel and a parakeet. They are not out of their cages right now because the dog is right by me. But my cockatiel especially loves to sit on my shoulder too.
Well, and we heard about the Madagascar hissing cockroaches this morning. How are they doing?
They are doing probably too good. They keep having babies. So they're doing good. The colony is growing. And so right now they're in a cage on my kitchen counter. If anybody knows anyone that wants to use Madagascar hissing cockroaches for education, or people will also feed them to their pets, their lizards and other reptiles like bearded dragons. So if you happen to know anybody, I will have to, find a way. They can't keep having babies. So I am looking for ways to keep the colony a little more contained. But the purpose of having cockroaches is to increase insect education for both kids and adults. These cockroaches, they can't fly, they're harmless, they don't have all the negative connotations that some of the other cockroach species do. And it's a great opportunity to get to hold a large insect in person and help mitigate some of those fears that people have. So actually, I'll go grab one here in a bit and show you guys. But if you have any opportunity or opportunities, if you're working
at chicken crack I found yesterday.
If you're working at a garden center shift and you're super excited about this, you could always bring one along. So let me know if you have any ideas.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah. Did someone?
Yeah, I think that was Tom.
Okay.
Let me see. I think here we go. Let me unmute him. Yep. Let me see if he put anything in chat here. Let's try again.
Am I there?
You're there. It's just for me, the audio is challenging.
Okay, it's okay.
Tom, if you want to put it in chat, then I'll be happy to share it. So Martha, I want to introduce Martha, who is the third and very important wheel in our toolkit here in the CSU Extension Office in the Hort Department. So Martha, you want to introduce yourself?
Martha, you're muted.
Mute. Now you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations, apprentices. I just wanted to say you did it almost. You just got to get that exam in, and I don't know the answer to 44 question, number 44. So just saying. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what you want me to say other than I'm here if you need me for any VMS help. Feel free to contact me, email, phone, whatever. Any questions you have. So.
Yeah. Yeah, your staff stands by. Martha, Lisa, and I all are happy to help. And our mentors obviously will help apprentices, but apprentices truly feel free to reach out to any of us. We want to be a collaborative community and we want to learn from one another. So what I want to try and do today, this luncheon meeting, normally we're enjoying each other's cooking and getting a time to visit, and we've all become accustomed to Zoom, but I truly want this to be sharing and an opportunity to learn about everything that's going to come up this season. So now I'm going to turn it over to individual team leaders for the different projects. As you all know, signups open tomorrow morning for all CMGs. And we have a really jam-packed calendar. So lots of things are going on. We've added new opportunities and we're really excited to get you out in the community and helping educate our citizens. So with that said, I'm going to start with the demonstration gardens and I'm going to go from west to east. So if I could call on Donna Farley Wade to talk a little bit about Hudson Gardens.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Hudson Gardens is a vegetable demonstration garden. It's located on Santa Fe across from Arapahoe Community College. We have 23 vegetable beds. So how we use volunteers is you come in and you seed, you plant, you do everything that you would need to do in a garden, weeding and fertilizing and eventually harvesting. Let's see. The other thing, oh, you wanted to know who our partners were. We partner with Integrated Community Family Services, and they're a nonprofit social service agency that has a food bank. And so they come and pick up our harvest once a week on Wednesdays, which is the days that we work. Volunteers come, they sign up for Wednesdays, and you work 8:30 to 11:30, and once in a while, a little bit after that. But it's a great experience for all of us. It's open to the public, so we get to talk to kindergartners and school groups and adults. And so part of our educational goal is to show people what grows in Colorado, what are some of the pitfalls, the different varieties that you can grow. And the kids have scavenger hunt sheets that Hudson Gardens puts out, and oftentimes it's loaded with vegetables. So they come running through and try to find different vegetables and help them identify some of the veggies and the bugs and answer any questions that people might have about vegetable gardening in Colorado. And, you know, the pests we deal with, rabbits and geese and raccoons and you name it. So how do we cope with this, any of that? So we would love to have you come in and sign up for a shift. Again, it's Wednesday mornings. And I'm not sure when we're actually going to start that, but I think it's in May. And so, you know, just really glad to meet everybody today and look forward to meeting the apprentices in person.
Awesome. Thank you, Donna. The Colorado Center for the Blind, Pat?
Okay, I think I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Colorado Center for the Blind is located in downtown Littleton, just a little bit west of the Pea Patch. The purpose of the school is to prepare the students, and these students come from all over the world. We've had students from Africa, and to prepare them for independent living. Therefore, they get a lot of training in Braille, technical training on computers. The scary one is they teach them about travel and home maintenance, computer maintenance, and finally gardening. And that's where we come into play. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the time changes depending on whether it's the temperature outside. And the students, they actually come out. They will be helping us planting. Of course, I'm talking about a non-COVID year. They would have been out planting, weeding, harvesting. And one of the other things that the school teaches them is cooking. And the food that they harvest is brought into their kitchens, and they use the food to prepare dinners. And they have to actually prepare a dinner for the entire school. And typically there could be 40 students there. Last year, because of COVID, we only had about 17, and we did not see a single student last year. So all the harvesting was done by us. We brought it up to the door, knocked on the door, or gave them a call, and they'd come out and pick it up and bring it to the kitchen. After a while, later in the summer, we were actually able to go into the school and drop it off. But you know, we have our protocols and they have their protocols. Hopefully this year, things will improve. Any questions?
Great, thanks, Pat. Go ahead.
One other fact is last year, because we had so much food, the school could not use all the food that was harvested. So we interfaced with a nonprofit cafe in downtown Littleton called Graceful, and they were very appreciative of the extra food. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Pat.
Sorry, did Pat mention the address?
The address is on West Shepherd, and it's between near the light rail, and on the east side is Bemis. I believe that's correct. South Bemis Road.
Actual street address, if I'm not mistaken, should be on VMS.
Okay.
It is. We'll check and make sure that it is.
It is.
Okay, next up, Rana.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Lucinda, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm part of the Pea Patch group. We have been, it's a community garden in Littleton. We have had a project out there. I think this is going to be our 10th year. We have two 20 by 20 spots or plots that are conjoined. So it is 4 raised beds on a 20 by 40 plot. We donate all of the produce that we grow to 3 local food banks. We're out there 3 times a week, so each day is different. Sunday's harvest goes to St. Mary's, Tuesday's harvest goes to the Life Center, and Thursday's harvest goes to King's Pantry. Generally in a year, we grow about 1,600 pounds of food that we donate. So we are looking for people to join us. Probably easier if you're on the west side of town. Like I say, we're out there 3 mornings a week. We would love to have repeat people coming out. We would love to have people who are passionate vegetable gardeners. What else can I tell you? 2 days a week, we deliver the food, and on Sundays, it gets picked up to go to St. Mary's. Generally, we would grow things that the food banks are able to handle. So sometimes people will ask, why don't you grow lettuce? It's because it just can't sit out there in a box at 90 degrees. It's generally two people per shift, a master gardener and an apprentice.
And how do you work with your neighboring plot owners and provide education?
That's true. Okay. So there are 124 plots within the Pea Patch Garden on our site. And so we also, people will come up and ask you questions while you're out there working. There's the potential that we could do Saturday classes for other gardeners if COVID allows. I think that's about it.
Great. Thanks, Rana. And your newest cohort is Pam Rosendahl, is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Cohort isn't the right word.
That's okay. We know what you mean.
You're co-participant, so that's great. So Pam and Rana are your go-tos for the pea patch. And I might have gotten my geography a little mixed up, but I'm going to head a little north right now and talk about our newest demonstration garden, which is at Clayton Elementary School. And Becky or Rochelle, do you want to chat about that a little bit?
Sure. Hi, everybody. The Clayton Community Garden is located at Clayton Elementary here in Inglewood. The actual garden is at the corner of Tufts and Delaware. Our goal is to get the students really excited about gardening, and then take that excitement home to their families and then their neighbors and community, and get them all involved. On the garden site, there are 7 grade level plots, kindergarten through 6th grades, and the produce from those plots will typically go back to the students and they take it home to their families. And there are, I believe, 15 community rental plots, and the Master Gardeners have rented one of those this year. And oftentimes the gardeners from those plots, if they have surplus, they will take it to the Mosaic Church food bank. And then they also have fruit trees and blackberries and strawberries and herb garden and a pollinator garden. And they actually call those the common areas. April, I believe Kathleen and Barb are going to pollinate a kindergarten, or they're going to pilot a kindergarten pollinator course. I don't know why that was hard for me. And they developed a compost course for the 3rd graders. And then in May, we want to support the students in planting their gardens. And for the rest of the growing season, we're hoping to meet twice a month on Saturdays, probably every other Saturday from like 8 to 10 is what we're thinking. And one of the Saturdays, we hope to offer a short educational piece. And then the other Saturday, we'll do like a chat with a Master Gardener type of session. And we will need to maintain the CMG garden plot, and then support the students with their plots and support the common areas. I think that's it. It's a new project, so this is not all carved in stone yet. So
those signups we're still developing. We're still working with the school officials to get those organized. So stay tuned. That'll be one of the signups that we give you a heads up and say, hey, these are going to open. We do expect to need some volunteers in May and then all through the summer. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Silo, Sally or Judy or one of the other team members?
This is Sally. Hi.
Hi.
And Judy, I think I saw her on, but I can't see her now. Are you there, Judy? She might be muted. I know she had the grandkids today. Anyway, so Silo this is our 10th. There you are. Good. So help me out. This is our 10th year at Silo, and it's a park at the corner of Dayton and Orchard. It's a city park, Greenwood Village City Park, and there's a big silo there, and there's a playground and fields and so forth. And when they developed the park, the city planned for demonstration gardens. So there's 8 beds, 4 raised beds and 4 pretty big, sort of close to the ground beds. So we've got about 2,200 square feet of garden space. And so, like in some years we've been able to produce, over 2,000 pounds of produce, or, maybe close to 3,000, but this year it's more like, last year was more like 1,800 because we started a little late. But we partner with Greenwood Village. Obviously, they give us a lot of support. And then they'll even buy the seeds for us. We've all started our seeds, the ones we're starting from scratch. And we're starting to plant. We've already put in peas and some irrigation and so forth. So we started about a week and a half ago, and we're taking volunteers starting Friday if the weather holds. We've got 9 core members of the team, and one of us kind of will engineer each day, and we'll have 3 core people attend, hopefully, and 3 volunteers attend, and we have lots and lots of work. We do everything from the planting to the irrigation to the harvesting, and the weeding obviously is constant. And this year we're kind of practicing the no-till after watching that soils presentation. So last year we tried half no-till and half till. This year we're trying totally no-till after watching her presentation. So that's going to make it kind of interesting. And we'll experiment when somebody gets an idea of some technique that we learn in a workshop. We might take a section and try to experiment with that. What else? Oh, our food goes to Covenant Pantry Food Bank, and that's located real close to the garden. We're working Tuesdays and Fridays this year. Usually we were Tuesday and Thursday, but we thought if we put it off to Friday, some of the more tender produce like the lettuce and so forth would be better harvested for the food bank, because they pick it up at noon on Fridays, and we thought we might have a little better luck with keeping everything fresh. So they'll pick up from us on Tuesdays, and Fridays we'll have to deliver, but it's really only a couple blocks from the garden, so it's not too hard. And they really appreciate the produce, especially tomatoes. So we try to grow a lot of tomatoes. And we have mostly walk-through people asking questions, people that are in the park with their kids. And I mean, we have questions every day. We have had official visits from some of the local schools that have walked there and helped us plant some years. And we try to cultivate those relationships. I don't know about Regis. We were talking about Regis also with Lucinda. So they're a possibility to help us with some work. And our goal is to have fun and grow lots of vegetables and learn something new every day.
That's great. Thanks,
Judy,
Sally.
anything else you can think of?
I think you covered everything.
Great. Thank you. One more garden we have brand new this year is out at the Plains Conservation Center. And so that is a new endeavor. We're partnering with the Denver Botanic Gardens and the city of Aurora. And so we've just got started out there, but the advantage to that garden for many of you is that it is in the 800 zip code, which means those of you who live on the eastern, yeah, I see Nina getting excited. For those of you who live out that way, we are trying to develop more opportunities out on, the eastern side of our county, because that's where a lot of our growth is and growth in our program too. And so this is a demonstration garden opportunity that might be more convenient for you folks that are out that way. We know it's a challenge to get in the car and have to drive an hour to volunteer for 2 hours. So we're trying to spread that out. So, calling out those folks who live in the 800s, we'd love to have you out there. Those demonstration garden shifts presently are Thursday morning and Saturday morning. Right now we're working at from 10 to noon, and then starting in June, that'll be from 8 to 10 because it gets really hot out there really quickly. So the focus out in that garden is heirloom vegetables, consistent with the period of history, which is the late 1800s. So a lot of school groups come through there, and we answer questions about what we're growing, what kind of varieties are there, what it's like to garden in a very arid climate. Water is brought by a truck, so it's not exactly akin to what the homesteaders did, but it's a little harder work out there, and that's part of the education. So that's what we share. So we'd love to have you join us out there. We've got a small group that's starting, and we'd like to develop that. Okay, Lisa, on to Native Bee Watch. Do you want to share a little bit about that program?
Yeah, so Native Bee Watch is kind of a new extension program and done a little bit differently than some of the other programs. And so it's community science. So basically we provide you all the training to collect scientific data. And we're collecting data on what bees are pollinating what plants. And so prior to the pandemic, this was a very small citizen science program at a couple of public gardens, and we were going to try and grow slowly. But with the opportunity to flip to all virtual learning, we flipped the program virtually. So now anyone can participate, and we are looking at bees on flowers in backyards. Now with everything opening up this summer, there is some opportunity maybe to go back to doing some of the public gardens as well. Like we've been collecting data over at the Native Plant Garden at the Carson Nature Center, for instance. So there might be some other opportunities there as we move towards in-person. You can count Master Gardener hours for participating in this program. So you can count 3 hours of continuing education, because that's about how long the training is. And again, we teach you everything you need to know. And then you can count up to 12 hours of your Master Gardener volunteer time towards your 50 hours. You're welcome to volunteer beyond that, and please record those hours, but 12 will count towards your total. And so when we think about this program, bigger picture, we have 3 major goals. The first goal is education. So we're teaching you about the bees and other insects that are in your gardens. And so really we're fostering this appreciation for pollinators, but also appreciation for insect conservation, which then, hopefully has a ripple effect in the community. So we've got the education piece. We're also collecting the ecological data on native bees. Now, native bees are hard to identify, and it's hard to get data on them. So we don't really have a lot of information on native bee populations. So me and the Native Bee Watch team, we're looking at different research questions we can answer with that data. And then the third goal is social science research. So community science, citizen science, all those programs have really taken hold and grown in popularity. And so we're doing research on what the best practices are in citizen science and community science. And so if you participate, you'll be asked to fill out, if you're willing, to fill out surveys, a pre-season and a post-season survey on your experience in the program. And in addition, some may be asked to do like interviews and that kind of thing, if you're willing. So our overall goal with that is to fine tune and create a better experience for citizen science and community science programs. That research will also be published in peer-reviewed research journals and that kind of thing. So big goals here. But we'd love your participation if you're interested. This program is also open to the public. So if you have neighbors or family members that are interested in bees, they are welcome to participate. I'm going to put the website for more information in the chat box. You can read more about the program. If you have specific questions about the program, you can contact me. And later this summer, I'll also have an intern helping me out, and you can contact her. So we'll keep you all informed when trainings are going to be. They're going to be towards the end of May. And yeah, in the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know. Any questions in the meantime?
Great. Thank you so much, Lisa. This is a new way to engage our group, and we're excited that that's an opportunity, especially to promote the citizen science. So we also want to have a potential counting site at our Lima Plaza Pollinator Garden. So that's another garden that we have started. It's an ornamental demonstration garden. And I was supported this winter by a great team who helped keep up the winter watering, and I'd encourage you to go out and visit this garden. All the bulbs that we planted have come back up. I'm so delighted, and it's really got quite a colorful show right now. The Lima Plaza Pollinator Garden is located just outside the Extension office. And so as we get more traffic back into our county offices, we're going to get more folks here looking at it and asking questions. And so that is another place to be able to volunteer. If you want to come help and answer questions, we're going to use it as a citizen science location. And then we're also developing a new page on our website. And so if folks are interested in participating in that effort, we would sure appreciate it. For our newer apprentices, that was a mostly grant and donation funded project. We got some support from contractors in the county. Thanks, Katie, to Keeson, who helped with part of that project. And so we're sharing information about the role of native plants and pollinator-friendly plants in that location. So that's another space. And it segues into our conversation. Tim mentioned that we're moving into providing more outdoor education. We also have new opportunities to participate in more naturalist type education and outdoor education. We're going to use our Native Plant Master program as a model for that. Lisa and I will be working with yet another intern this summer who's going to do some more curriculum development on that, but we'll keep you posted on new and interesting outdoor educational opportunities and folks where we can use volunteers. The first one that we've got coming up is that soil and watershed health opportunity, and we're partnering with the Cherry Creek Stewardship Partners on that. So we meet at the Cherry Creek Ecological Park, and we help citizens and the folks who sign up for this class to learn a little bit about soil health and the practices that we're using in our landscapes and how that impacts the watershed. So that's kind of the idea of where we're heading with this education. And so we're grateful to have partners, but it's an evolving thing. And we'll post the link to the Native Plant Master classes in the chat box for you to have. It is on the Arapahoe County Extension website. So if you look for that, you can find it. Youth curriculum, Kathleen.
There we
Kathleen.
go. Okay, it was hard to get unmuted there. Okay, Barb Bolin and I have been spearheading the youth gardening curriculum project, and it's still a work in progress. In 2019, we kind of did a survey of teachers and began creating presentations based on their input. We decided on 4 topics, and the topics were pollinators, seeds and life cycles, composting, and plant needs. And we managed to go ahead and complete the content for pollinators. And we had 3 different units put together. They were all age appropriate. There was a preschool through grade 1, a 2-3, and a 4-5 unit. And so we were all set to go ahead and do the pilot last spring. And for obvious reasons, we couldn't complete that. So we've never presented the pollinator unit, which is complete, but we did get, I guess Lucinda got a specific request for a composting unit. So Barb and I kind of threw one together really quickly and presented it to some 5th graders pretty much right before we shut down last year. But the basic concept of this is to have grab and go boxes. And these boxes have PowerPoints on a flash drive and a script. They also have any supplies and materials for the presentation, as well as supplies and materials for a related age-appropriate activity. Luckily, thanks to Becky and Rochelle, we are going to pilot the pollinator unit at Clayton Elementary and beginning on Monday, and make any changes or tweaks that are needed. And then we'll go ahead and get started and begin formalizing the composting unit that we threw together and completing the other topics as well. So hope to have these pretty much in place by, fall, I hope. And so the schedule is going to be simply as requested by teachers. So keep your eyes on VMS. Likely the signups will begin in the fall, and I expect them to be kind of heavy in the fall and in the spring. So anything I'm missing there, Lucinda?
No, I think that's great. Thank you. We're really excited about expanding our outreach to youth. This was something that has been bubbling up for a while, and certainly got some good feedback from folks that our newer apprentices, a number of them were very interested in working specifically with the youth population. So we're excited to start exploring that. Thanks, Kathleen, so much. Appreciate that. The newsletter. Donetta, do you wanna chat about that for a bit?
Sure, I will. First of all, congratulations to all the apprentices. We're so thrilled that you're here and welcome you. I always feel like this part of the program is like a sales pitch. You know, it's like join our team. But really, any program or anything that you get involved in is going to be rewarding. But really, pick the newsletter. Really, no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, the Garden Buzz newsletter. It's an electronic newsletter. Hopefully, you all get that. It started in its present form about 2 years ago. Martha Kirk, Judy Coons, and myself are the editors of that. It's published every other month on odd months. So, January, March, we have one coming up in May. The readership is growing by leaps and bounds. And that's as we get out more, with Speakers Bureau and a lot of the things that Lisa did last year on Zoom meetings. And then you'll also see on the teams, there's now a column that, if you talk to a person on the phone, a client on the phone, you can ask them if they would like to get a copy of our newsletter. And then you just put their email address in that column and we add them. So that's how our readership is growing. So we're always looking for master gardeners to write educational articles. You can pick a topic that you're passionate about and bring it to us and the editors will look at it. Or we also have sometimes a list of articles that, we're interested in putting in the newsletter and we're looking for a writer. So I think there's a writer in all of us, especially since we're also educators. So I would like to invite all of you to, email Martha, Judy, or myself and just get added to the list of writers or bring us some ideas of maybe something you might want to see in the newsletter. So we have like Lisa Mason. She has a really popular column from the Hort Desk. Kathy Thistlethwaite just is finishing a 6-part series on container gardening. That was extremely popular. And we've had a number of really good writers. In May, we have Dina Lawrence. She's doing a really great article on landscape design, and May Rowan, most of you know her. She's writing an article. So I just encourage all of you to just kind of join in and help write and get the word of the newsletter out. And I do want to give a quick shout out to those that have written for the newsletter already. I think that that's important. So Carol Gilmore, Paula Zillard, Megan Knight, Judy Kale, Barb Bolin, Kathleen DeVries, Pam Rosendahl, Evelyn Alton, Jeff Cole, Paula Pierce, Kirsten Sanders, and Betsy Dixon have all been contributing authors to the newsletter. So it just shows that there's a wide range of interests and articles, and we just really want to encourage you to join our team. Okay.
Thanks,
Did I leave
Donetta.
anything out, Martha?
Thanks, Donetta. That's great. That's great. Martha, would you like to chat about the social media opportunities?
Yes. Okay. So Facebook first, that is a monthly obligation. So it's a monthly shift and you post at least once a week. We find that if you post more than that, people get more engaged, we get more followers, just it's the way social media is. So the posts are really supposed to be timely and relevant, and it's actually pretty easy. I didn't even know Facebook before I signed up for a shift. And, you know, it's a couple sentences, a few sentences, a link to, say, a fact sheet or a plant talk script, and a nice photo or two. Bada bing, bada boom, you're out. So, and you'll see other posts, you know, by Lisa and Lucinda. They may post about certain events that might be going on. So you'll see additional posts coming in as well. But it's our Arapahoe County Facebook page, and it's kind of fun. We've grown, you know, our followers a little bit more each time. And so it's just something different. And, you know, it works in this remote world right now, especially because, you know, we can't go to the office yet. So it's easy to do. Instagram, are you going to talk Instagram, or shall I just mention something real quick?
Sure, if you want to go ahead, we are looking for a team leader for Instagram. So if anybody loves it and wants to help teach others how to do it, we'd love your participation. But sure, go ahead, Martha. And we can post both of the URLs. We'll post both of the URLs in chat. So if you're not currently following us, we'd love you to do so.
Yeah. Well, Instagram is a weekly sign up, and those are a little different from Facebook posts. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're kind of inspirational photos. You know, Heidi Dolan is one I think of, and she does a lot of seed starts. And so there's a lot of stuff about growing tomatoes and interesting varieties that she's growing. And it's really about the photo and something fun to say about it. Still, you know, science-based, but very much inspirational. And I think Becky Clemens has done some of those as well. So those are a weekly thing. Let me see. I don't know what the requirements are, other than you have to do it on a smartphone or a tablet. You can't do it from a computer. So you have to, that's, I think, about the only requirement, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You're on mute. You guys
have to do it. That one you have to have a smartphone to do, and you have to download the app. Can't be done on the desktop. So, but it is designed to be, if you're out in a garden working, you see something phenomenal that you want to post and comment on, that's the great application. So we want everyone really to be posting on Instagram and sharing what we're doing. So we can either do a formal training about this or just kind of one-on-one for folks who are interested. Okay. Next up is the fair. Okay, Evelyn and Gloria, do you want to chat about public competitions?
Sure. So we participate in the Arapahoe County Fair every year. Arapahoe County citizens are encouraged to submit horticulture and floriculture entries. And there is judging. The horticulture is one day, floriculture is the next. And we Colorado Master Gardeners volunteer to help the judges. We take in the entries. It's quite the process. And I do believe that it's a requirement for apprentices to volunteer, correct, Lucinda? Yes.
Sorry, I'm checking in with a volunteer who's waiting on the other one. The next meeting, that's fine. Yes, it is a requirement for volunteers, for the apprentices to volunteer out there at some point, right, during the week.
It's quite fun. I did it when I was an apprentice, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm still doing it, and I'm going into my 8th year. So we will, it'll be a little different again because of COVID, and we're working to kind of rearrange how we display everything. But it's quite fun. Is that good?
Great. That is great. So yeah, a lot of fun, and you get a little bit of exhibit. You get to have fun with displays. You get to have fun with, you know, you learn a lot about vegetables, herbs, and ornamentals. And so it's a great opportunity.
And the demonstration gardens typically will submit entries. So that's
correct.
fun.
Correct. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every gardener is welcome. We'd really like to encourage individual gardeners to enter too, and we really expanded the arrangements to a lot of fun things this year.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and the rule book just came out, just
Yay!
published. Yay! So I'll get you copies of this, but
Awesome. Can't wait to see it.
yeah, we do. You'll start to see a lot more posts in Arapahoe County on social media next door about how to enter and how to participate. And so we're looking for hopefully a lot more entries this year. So that
And it's been simplified. So
Do we have dates yet?
yes, so the Arapahoe County Fair, our volunteer involvement will begin on Monday, July 19th and go through Monday, July 26th, because we have 3 different opportunities. We're going to have the demonstration garden, we're going to have the public competitions, and we're going to have the info booths. And then we have setup and cleanup obligations for all of those. Public competitions start on Wednesday, the 20th? No, the 21st. Wednesday, July 21st is horticulture, so that's vegetables and herbs. The 22nd is the ornamentals, which is floriculture. So we're looking forward to having everybody involved, and it is fun. It is fun. We enjoy that.
Are those in VMS?
They are in VMS. Yep. Yep. So yes, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you join us. And having said that, we're going to segue over to the demonstration garden. I saw Megan was on. Do you want to chat a little bit about what we're going to be doing this year now at the Arapahoe County Fair?
Sure. We are bringing back our Heroes in the Garden, which is pretty exciting. We did that for the garden fair, or the Garden and Home Show, back in 2020, just before everything shut down. We're bringing it back. We're bringing the animals back. The animals, I have not seen them in quite some time. So I think a lot of the volunteer work before the fair is going to be a lot of repair work, making them look their best, making sure that they're holding up. So that's going to be a lot more crafting and not really gardening. So it'll be painting, some constructing, making sure they're standing up. That will happen before the fair, probably in the Lima Garden or in the Lima Plaza. The fair itself, we're going to be moving in those animals and plants starting on Monday the 19th in the afternoon, and then we have 2 shifts on Tuesday the 20th. That's my understanding. That's more physical work. It's a lot of moving plants and the animals and designing. We're going to make it look pretty close to what we did last year, which should be fun. Those animals were a lot of fun. People put a lot of work into them, and they're really fun. I think people like to come see them. We'll be doing that with Matt Hupschman. I don't know if he's on here, but he was my partner last year for the Garden and Home Show. So we'll be looking for volunteers who like to garden and craft and build and move. So look forward to it.
Great, thanks so much. I want to give a shout out to all the mentors on the call. You have been instrumental in helping your apprentices get to this point, and we're really excited to engage them. We are obviously running over time, and I apologize for that. Note to self, we'll increase our time that we need for this next year, because we're growing and we're expanding programs, and so we have a lot of information to share. I'll take a minute or 2 to take questions, and then we want to roll into our diagnostic segment. And apprentices, you're welcome to stay. We will drill down this afternoon a little bit more on Japanese beetle and emerald ash borer. And then CMGs, this does count for continuing education if you can join us. And we're going to have Debbie, Jeff, and Lisa share with us about what this season looks like locally for diagnostics and how we can help get you comfortable with the kinds of questions that you'll see this summer. So any questions on our update meeting?
Are you going to talk about Grow and Give?
I can. Grow and Give is a separate program. So you sign up on the Grow and Give website. I think you can Google it. It's growandgivecolorado.com. There is also a link from the Master Gardener website, and that is an individual garden effort. So the idea is that you grow your own vegetables in your backyard and then donate that produce to local food banks or local churches or other kinds of organizations that help in food insecurity. It is a program that you sign up for and register separately on that website. You're allowed to count up to 12 hours of your volunteer work for that garden. It is separate and apart than the work we do in the demonstration gardens. And so, but it is an obligation on you to manage that effort on the volunteer side by yourself, and then just report the hours in VMS. We don't, the CMG program doesn't actively manage that program or the individual effort. That was started in part last year to give people an opportunity to engage and solve a community need with, while we were all working remotely, and it's still very, very popular. It has segued now into its own thing. And so we collaborate and cooperate with that program, but it's not, organized locally in the county. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Are there some in chat that we need to look at? Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is give you a quick break. Let's take 5 minutes, and Debbie and Jeff will be back on. I'll load the next link for the next meeting. I'll get that started. It is a different link than the one you're on now. And so be sure and hang up from this meeting and go to the next meeting. Yes, Anne Marie asked, is the diagnostic training going to be recorded and can we view it later for CE? Absolutely, yes, we will record it. So if you can't stick around and join us, feel free to move on to other pursuits this afternoon. And we are grateful to see all of you and all of your shining faces. It's nice to see one another again, and we're excited to get back to working with you all in the garden. Any other questions before we say goodbye to this one and we'll go on to our next meeting? Okie dokie. So we'll get started the next meeting in about, let's plan to start at about 1:40. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.